State regime media, which calls itself Fox, knows that Donald Trump's health is rapidly deteriorating. They are panicking on state regime media as their dear leader. His health is rapidly deteriorating before their eyes. So what's state regime media doing? They bring on this guy named Dr. Siegel, who says, oh, all very normal. Donald Trump taking 325 milligrams of aspirin a day. Of course, that's going to lead to the bruising you see on his hand. And, you're 79 years old. If you play golf, it's going to cause a lot of, sunspots on your hand, all that together. That's why we see Donald Trump's hand looking all bruised and beaten like that. So it's the sun, it's the aspirin, it's people shaking his hands. To totally make sense with state regime media. Here's what Dr. Siegel has to say. Here, play this clip.
Negative CAT scan, fine. He says he's on 325 milligrams of aspirin. Brian, that increases your risks of bruising, especially at 79 years old. As does playing golf, by the way, because the golfing, actually a lot of sun exposure on his upper extremities. This is completely normal.
Okay, then it gets even more pathetic after that. Dr. Siegel goes on state regime media. Look, I know he keeps talking about his cognitive exams, but we see him pass that cognitive exam every day. Have you seen his press conferences? How cogent, how clear, how concise, how articulate dear leader is when he gives his press conferences. I don't know what you're watching, Dr. Siegel, but Donald Trump's press conferences are incoherent, blabbering, word salad, slop. It's unclear what the heck the guy is even saying, but okay, Dr. Siegel, I'll let you say that these press conferences are clear and coherent. Here, play this clip.
What a bunch of hogwash to say that this is some kind of things being hidden. He's doing the opposite. He's showing us complete transparency here. And you want the cognitive test, but how about watching him on one of these press conferences where you and I can't even get on the air because he keeps talking in ways that are easy to follow. His brain is clearly intact and his body too.
And then state regime media was attacking Meidas with this chyron. Trump hits back at Dems over his health. You see Aaron Parnas from the MeidasTouch network right there with Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, because Democratic leader Jeffries said we should do congressional investigations into Donald Trump's deteriorating health because they ain't coming clean when it comes to Donald Trump's health. They're lying about MRIs or CT scans. They're claiming MRIs are actually CT scans. They claim he's in perfect health. He keeps taking these Montreal cognitive exams, which people take who have deteriorating cognitive issues. But okay. By the way, so on the MeidasTouch network, we write, so it's from handshaking. No, it's from aspirin. No, it's from getting whacked. It's from golf. What will the excuse be tomorrow? Donald Trump told the Wall Street Journal that the reason his hand looks all bruised and beaten with bandages, he goes, someone keeps on whacking me. I keep getting whacked in my hand. Okay. How about this though? So Donald Trump essentially is mainlining aspirin while telling women to not take Tylenol, even if they are in pain during their pregnancy. It's just a very fascinating view by Donald Trump right there. And by the way, it's not normal to be taking that amount of aspirin daily. And Donald Trump goes, I want thin blood going into my heart, not that thick blood. But do you remember when Dr. Siegel was on state regime media, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks ago? That's when the Trump regime was claiming it was an MRI. Now they're claiming it's a CT scan. But here's where he was saying, oh, it totally makes sense to have an MRI just of the abdomen. All the executives are doing abdominal MRIs. Let's be clear. That's false. There's no such thing as abdominal preventative MRIs. Those don't exist. Also, if you're getting a CT scan of the abdomen only or of other areas, but not the rest of your body, you probably have to ask what's going on in that area of the body. But this was Dr. Siegel a few weeks back. Play this clip.
They're going, oh, why is he having an MRI? Well, because that's, by the way, what executives do now. They have MRIs of the heart. Dr. Fuster at Sinai is doing them on a lot of people, as screening tests. And he had some leg swelling. They went after that. So he had an MRI. Looks normal. But Biden, by comparison, was not normal. He had medical problems. He had prostate cancer. He had cognitive problems.
And then Dr. Siegel and Laura Ingraham a few weeks back were saying, look, Thomas Edison never slept, okay? So clearly, when you see Donald Trump just sleeping during these meetings, that just shows how strong he is. He's like Edison. Here, play this clip.
We all know that he doesn't sleep. You know, I'm not a big sleeper either. So, you know, on occasion, I close my eyes if someone's talking for too long, I admit it. But big deal. I mean, the results speak for themselves. What President Trump does on a daily basis. If you sleep 3 hours or 4 hours a night, you're probably going to close your eyes, whether you're 79 or 49. I don't think that matters.
Yeah, President Trump, Thomas Edison believed in the 10-minute nap, by the way. What would they say? We wouldn't have electricity, right?
Oh, my goodness. Well, Dr. Siegel, we will continue to see them fixate on this after everything they did to cover for Joe.
Oh, by the way, though, Donald Trump's new excuse, though, is that he's not sleeping. He goes, the press catches the blink. He goes, I'm awake. They just catch me when I'm blinking. It's just the blink that you see. Okay. So then Fox needs to also distract from Donald Trump's destruction of the American economy, the fact that things aren't affordable, that people can't afford homes, that people, if they're lucky enough to get a paycheck, are psychologically tortured, living paycheck to paycheck. So Fox, state regime, media, they're talking about, look, what we need to do, we need to arrest Joe Biden and Dr. Fauci. And they bring on James Comer to say that Biden and Fauci should be arrested. Here, play this clip.
My biggest frustration over the past 12 months as chairman of the Oversight Committee under the Trump administration is that people haven't been held accountable in a sense that they haven't been slapped with handcuffs and they haven't been put in jail. If I could do that, we would already have a bunch of people in jail. There would be a lot of the Biden family in jail, and Dr. Fauci would be in jail, and the list goes on and on. But we do the investigations, as you know, Jason. But for the first time since I've been chairman of the Oversight Committee, this will be I've been chairman for 3 years. We had 2 years of Biden, and you know he wasn't going to do anything.
And James Comer says, look, let's talk about what the American people are really interested right now. The Somalians in Minnesota. It's all people are talking about, James Comer said. And he goes, just think about it. The American people are struggling. They can't afford Christmas gifts. And now they find out it's the Somalians who are stealing all of their money. You see what they're, do you see how transparent the propaganda is, right? It's because Donald Trump's economic policies have made things less affordable. Things not affordable at all. That Donald Trump promised that he was going to make things affordable on day one, that all of the prices would go down, that the tariffs were going to be a miracle. There were going to be Doge dividend checks and tariff rebate checks, and all of this billion people were going to get so rich they weren't even going to know what to do with it. They were going to get so rich. But now as people suffer, what does MAGA do? Their normal tactics. Distract so the billionaires can keep on stealing from you. Distract so they could build their data centers in your backyard. Distract so Palantir and all these AI companies can continue to screw us all and blame the Somalis. It's the Somalians, everybody. You may want to realize that the leader in Minnesota was a white lady prosecuted by the Biden administration, as were most of the leaders of the fraud in Minnesota were prosecuted by the Biden administration. And it's notable that the Biden administration were the ones prosecuting the fraud while Donald Trump is pardoning the fraudsters. Billions and billions of dollars of money stolen from fraudsters. Those fraudsters, as long as they say they're MAGA and they donate to Donald Trump, they've been getting pardoned. Here's what James Comer has to say, though, about what the Americans are really interested in. Here, play this clip.
I do expect them to show up. This is the biggest story in America right now. The mainstream media is finally starting to cover it. They thought it would just be a 24 or 48 hour news cycle, but this is what the American people are interested in. They're outraged. Everyone works hard. They pay taxes. Everyone hates to pay taxes. We're struggling to paying for Christmas presents and making ends meet at the end of the year. And then you see with your own eyes the massive amounts of fraud taking place in Minnesota. And most Americans have enough common sense to know this is probably happening in other states.
And then James Comer says, look, we give people too much welfare. This is like a welfare state. We need to make sure that we protect the billionaires and screw over the people. That's what we need to focus on. Listen to James Comer for yourself. Play this clip.
There's too much welfare in America. We can't afford the welfare that we have. And there are too many illegals in this country. The Trump administration has done a tremendous job cutting off the flow of illegals into the United States. They're doing their best to deport people. But I think ground zero is Minnesota right now, and I think we're finally going to see some action. I think the people that watch Sean Hannity's show every day, they're going to be very satisfied at the end of the day.
Hey everybody, Ben Meiselas here from the MeidasTouch Network. I wanted to let you know about my podcast partner, Michael Popak's new law firm. It's called the Popak Firm. Michael Popak's pursuing his dream of starting his own law firm, really based on the popular demand by all the Meidas Mighty and legal AFers who were approaching Michael Popak with their cases and saying, can you help us? And at that time, Popak was not able to. So he went out on his own. He started the Popak Firm, where he is now handling catastrophic injury cases like car accident cases, trucking cases, malpractice cases, big negligence cases, wrongful death cases. So if you or someone you know have a case like this, the consultation with Popak's firm is free. Give him a call. See if you have a case. It's thepopakfirm.com, thepopakfirm.com, or you can call 877-POPOK-AF, P-O-P-O-K-A-F. So 1-877-POPOK-AF. Give Michael Popak a call. And I'm really proud of you, Popak. Thanks for all the hard work you're putting in. Then they've got this guy, Hurt, this Fox host, this propagandist, Hurt. And he just starts going, aye, aye, Captain, I'm a Somali pirate, just mocking the Somalian community. They think this is funny on state regime media. Here, play this clip.
Yo ho, yo ho! The Minnesota Pirates are back on deck. No, they're not hunting treasure. They're guarding the loot and fumbling the ball.
Then they attack Zoran Mamdani's wife. Here, play this clip.
Meanwhile, Lady Mamdani was warm. She put on her $630 designer boots, and not very socialist of her. Get used to it, New York City. The Mamdani Block Party is going on for another 4 years.
Bring on Congress member Byron Donalds, who says, you know, the Democrats' politics, they have no real policy. That's why everyone's healthcare costs are going up. Excuse me? You're in the majority of the House. You control the Senate. You control the White House. Y'all said that you were going to have great healthcare plans. You were going to roll them out. It was going to make healthcare affordable. Donald Trump said he was going to reduce the cost of prescription drug prices by 600%, 700%, 3,000%, right? But you know what's happened? Pharmaceutical companies have raised the cost on 350 drugs this year. Last year, they raised the price on 250 drugs. Drug prices are actually going up right now. There's no most favored nations provision where America's getting its drugs as the cheapest that pharmaceutical company's paying internationally. That ain't happening. It's more scams, more fraud by this regime. And you'll refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And now people are getting kicked off their Affordable Care Act plans. How cruel, how evil, how unusual, how MAGA. Here, play this clip.
No, they've not done the math. They'll never do the math because their politics is truly rooted in envy. Their politics is rooted in the fact that they don't have real policy positions that help people improve their lives or help people move up the economic ladder and chase the American dream. Their politics are based on envy. So they'll never do the math. I mean, look at what they want to do in healthcare. It's not helping anybody. The prices are through the roof. This is the Democrats' plan. Bernie Sanders voted for this. This is what they want. It's not working. It's not helping, but they don't care. They just want to go take it from somebody else.
Then they bring on this propagandist Kutcher, Sonny Kutcher. They have Caroline Sunshine and Sonny Kutcher. And she goes, you know what's happening in New York? It's like what happened in Cuba when Fidel Castro was elected as the president by his people. Maybe that's going to happen here. Castro wasn't elected, number one. And number two, Trump is more Castro than anybody. Trump is, interestingly, Trump is more Chavez. Trump is more Maduro. Trump is basically a communist central planning leader and an idiotic one who's a bad central planning leader. But it's welfare for the billionaires right now in the United States. Here, play this clip.
It's interesting. We hear a lot these days from a lot of those same voters talking about fascism. And they don't seem to draw the connection between fascism and what Mamdani just came right out and said, collectivism.
Absolutely. And anything that's going to usher in big government control feeds right into the hands of what socialists want. And that is exactly what happened in Cuba. Fidel Castro was actually elected by its people, and then he proceeded to change the constitution and declare himself a dictator. Now, we can't speculate that this would happen here, but the pattern is that democratic socialists, they say that just to soften the blow, soften the pill of what socialism really is. But all that it is centralizing power. And young people think, okay, well, if we give the government more power, that'll be better. They'll distribute it more equally. But that truly, at its core, goes against the entire value system of what this country was built upon.
And then you have Tom Emmer, MAGA Republican congressman, one of the leaders of the MAGA Republicans of the House of Representatives. And here he attacks his own state of Minnesota. And he's like, we're cutting off child support for Minnesota right now. Why? Because our state is engaged in so much fraud. Dude, it's your state, okay? So you're rooting for your state to have its programs that feed people who need it, that support people who need it. You support your state getting screwed. I mean, just think about the constituents of this guy. This guy's causing pain and suffering of his constituents while MAGA is out there making these frankly awful propaganda videos blaming the Somalians that cherry pick things that are out of context, that distort the time, that go to locations of childcare when they're closed. It's just so embarrassing what they're doing. And it's just they're eating your cats and dogs, this, that, transgender people, this. It is a way for them to divide us with culture war issues while the billionaires plunder, while they build their data centers in your backyard, while they screw your family, while the rich get significantly richer and they make everybody poorer and make everybody suffer. That's what this is all about. I want you to be aware of what their plan is here. Here, play this clip.
Now, because Trump's all-star cabinet, he's got 9 cabinet members investigating this. You pointed out in the introduction that Kelly Loeffler has just identified almost 8,000 loans that are connected to fraudsters, totaling over $400 million. The Trump administration has ceased child support payments. Why? Because they asked a few weeks ago for the state to provide them with verification that the money is going where it's supposed to go, which is to children, to the disabled, and single mothers. They haven't provided that, so guess what? The administration is taking proactive action, and we're going to try and follow that up with legislation.
Well, there you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers, and thank you so much for watching.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.